Bo, a very special guest in the studio. Worcester City Councilor Khrystian King joins us. Thank you very much for taking the time.
Sure. Good morning. Very happy to be here.
Know you're a busy guy. Your daughter's here, and you got to get her off to school.
Leonie's here. Leonie, can you say hello?
No, she's like, oh,
there
hi.
we go.
Thank you.
To go to school, right?
All right. Well, you are kind of heading an effort to bring back First Night here to Worcester, which in its day was really a great celebration. When my daughter was your daughter's age, we went like every time.
Yes.
And unfortunately, it disappeared. When was the last one?
2017, I believe, was the last one.
And so what do you envision for First Night? Do you envision the same thing? I mean, they had fireworks. They had multiple places involved that you could travel to.
Yeah, I think it's a great opportunity to market the city, really promote community. People came from outside of Worcester, from central Massachusetts, and as you know, it went up and down Main Street. WRT at the time would freely do loops. We had the interesting part of it. It was also one of the only events at the time that paid their artists. So we had a lot of performers. New Kids on the Block performed here.
Yeah.
And then the fireworks at 7 o'clock and then again at midnight. And my eldest daughter, I took to that for a long time. Now my daughter, Leonie, who's here with me today, we have to leave the city to see fireworks. We go to Boston, rent a hotel, spend our money. There's a significant economic impact here as well. We're certainly a driver for Central Mass and really would like to see us to begin to plan. We have a host of events that happen in the city. Italian Heritage Day Parade. We have St. Patty's Day Parade, Juneteenth, Caribbean Festival. We have the Summer Jam by American Pyramids at Crompton Park, and really tapping into all of those resources. When Mr. Washburn found this many years ago, it was a public-private partnership. Get the business communities on board, get the artists, and let's see if the Cultural Development Office of the city can also play a role in that, and would love to see us begin to bring this back. It's just community-based, and, right now is a great time to bring the community together in Worcester and beyond.
Yeah. It's always a good time to do that, to bring a community together.
Yes.
Like you said, there's the music, they pay the artists, musical artists, sometimes national artists, the fireworks, the whole thing.
Yes.
So there's going to be people that will be like, well, how are you going to pay for all this stuff?
Right.
And before, it was through sponsorships.
Yeah, it was through sponsorships. They sold buttons. The business community was involved. And we do have funds that we can tap in through our cultural division in the city. And I'm pretty sure we can get our delegation of state reps and senators to also earmark some funds for this. If you look what they're doing in Boston, Boston's the longest running First Night in the country. When we stopped doing this in 2016 or 17, we were the second longest First Night celebration in the entire country. And this is just really something everybody can get behind.
You're right. It appeals to everybody. There's no
all
politics,
ages. Doesn't
nothing.
matter. Right. Doesn't matter who you are, race, ethnicity, creed, religion. Everybody coming together to celebrate a hopeful new year. And to show people what true unity looks like.
Absolutely. I wholeheartedly agree. So what can people do to help with this effort? Can the residents do something? Can they contact someone? What action can they take?
They should reach out to City Hall, to the office of the City Council. We have staff there that can field calls or go on worcesterma.gov and do the same and express their interest. We're looking to identify community members and community groups to raise this up. And one of the most important things we have to do is pay homage and respect to the folks that did this for so long, and pick their brain of what works. Talk to people like the folks that did Start on the Street,
right.
And harness all of that in a way where we can create a cultural event that rivals Boston.
Nice. All right. So get in touch with your city councilor, get in touch with city council. Send the mayor an email.
Sure,
yeah.
Absolutely.
Let everybody know at City Hall.
Yes.
Right. Let them know you want it back and you want to help.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. I appreciate you coming in. Thank you very much. I know you have to get your daughter to school, but I can't. I got to ask you about what's going on in City Council right now.
Sure.
With Tu Nguyen, they are taking a month off because they say it's a toxic atmosphere And she mentioned Mayor Petty. She mentioned Candy Carlson. She mentioned Kate Toomey, I believe, blames them for creating a toxic atmosphere. Is the stuff that she... I'm sorry, I keep saying that.
They.
And this, they. And this is something we talked about yesterday, that it takes a long time for people to change.
I'm going to cut in for a second and just say this. I want to give full credit and respect to Tu Nguyen, the state, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, first non-binary elected official in the history of the state, the first Southeast Asian who's Vietnamese and political refugee to be elected to the city. And what we're talking about right now is education.
Right.
And there's so much that has been done by Tu's candidacy, by Tu's standing up for who they are. And right here today, it's another educational moment. And we will never, ever, ever be able to really measure the impact that they have had on the city of Worcester and beyond. And I think it goes down to, when you're trying to navigate through this relationships. And unfortunately, Mayor Petty hasn't built those relationships with everyone on the council. And I think this has kind of raised its head here. I wanted to say this publicly. I stand behind Tu Nguyen's leave 1,000%. I look forward to Councilor Nguyen regrouping at the very least, which is necessary. I think we all do that in terms of self-care. I'm a clinical social worker here in the city with a master's degree and postmaster's certificates. And that's actually the right thing to do. Regroup, refocus, and stand for what you believe in. So this idea and this notion that someone's just taking time off isn't it. This is a regrouping.
Well, my question really is, what was the intent of the other city councilors? Was it an honest mistake like I was just making there? Because we were talking yesterday about patience and that things that people have been conditioned their whole lives to refer to name, to identify with. Change doesn't happen, as you well know, like a light switch.
Right.
It takes a while for, like as evidenced just a minute ago with me still trying to get it right.
Yes.
And I embrace this change.
Yes.
It's just me personally trying to switch my brain over to get it right. Do you know if any of this was said intentionally to her, or was it an honest mistake? And if it is an honest mistake, like one of the councilors stated in their statement, shouldn't we be practicing patience also with the people who have to change?
Sure. And I think, I think it goes to, again, relationships as well, intention. I can't speak on behalf of the other councilors. I can't speak on behalf of the mayor as vice chairman of the council. I can certainly tell you that I stand against anything that would, inflict harm upon someone based on their being. That being said, yes, we have to learn together collectively. And this is a great teachable moment. At the same time, we have concerns about Councilor Nguyen being referred to as an it intentionally.
Did that actually happen? I mean, is there
I'm
in
looking
the records?
I'm looking for an outside investigation to happen. There's also an HR investigation. There is folks that are going to be participating in that who are claiming and reporting that has happened by a counselor. So we will see where that lands. But yeah, I think this is a great opportunity for us to educate ourselves. As a social worker, I work with young people who identify differently. And when misgendered, sometimes that impact on those young people, the young adults, is significant. And we know that we have to be careful about the language because it's harmful. And we know that population is often at risk in our community for violence, for othering, and in this instance, concerns of dehumanization that have likely occurred. And I want to say this about sort of the apologies. I certainly commend the apologies. I think Councilor Toomey stands out among them. But what we can't do is get into the record of attendance and what Councilor Nguyen is or isn't doing. That's a separate matter.
It is. That's a completely different.
Separate matter.
Yeah.
And kind of mixing the two is a major shortcoming. It really takes away from any attempt to apologize. If you can imagine someone dehumanizing myself based on my race or my gender or whatever the case might be, and then saying, well, you don't come to work. Well, what does that have to do with anything? The fact is that we have to look at this, and we have to grow as a city. We're the most diverse city council in the history of Worcester. We have folks from all different areas, and I think we can weather this storm. We've weathered a lot of storms in the city council, but I respect, to Councilor Nguyen, and also I'm looking forward us to being better.
Awesome. I appreciate you coming in. Appreciate you commenting on that, too. And I applaud your efforts to get First Night back here in the city.
Absolutely.
I will be emailing
to it.
my city councilor and saying that I'd like to see that back here.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. That's Worcester City Councilor Khrystian King. You better get her to school before you get into trouble, man.
Ready, Leonie?
All right. Thanks a lot.